New at 10 o'clock, more than half of adults with mental illness do not receive care. That's according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, also known as NAMI. That's the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization, and now it plans to launch an affiliate in West Central Illinois. It'll be headquartered in Mount Sterling, while branching out to help residents in Adams and Morgan counties. The nonprofit will provide support for families, teenagers, and more.
Anxiety and depression are really among the top 3 complaints seen by physicians in the U.S. And then on top of that, there's a shortage of, believe it or not, mental health services. So the services are not meeting the demands.
Now, volunteers are needed to make the plans become reality. An open house is planned in June in Brown County.